movement and spray in this CS2. I'm still like feeling it out. When you're holding an angle like this, like it's very easy to say like you're almost trying to play like, you know that game in arcades that goes in circles and you try to hit the button right when the light hits the light bulb that you want to click. I feel like a lot of people are holding angles very tense, waiting for that moment. Oh, I gotta hit the headshot right when they run in my crosshair. So that is good to do. Letting people run into your crosshair is a good skill. But what you got to realize to watch, this guy's gonna come at me like let's miss the first bullet when he peeks me, right? So miss. If you do that against a good person, you got to be able to adjust. So that's where ducking's fine, right? I strafe shoot someone, see how I duck and I stand. That movement's good. So a lot of times when you're holding an angle, you just got to not be like, oh, I got to kill the guy right when I see him, and I just don't move. That's how you are. You need this move right here. So if I miss, that takes you up to a whole nother level. Just that one move. That takes you to a whole nother level. So many of my friends who are just average shooters with a rifle don't have that level, that basic move. They see someone, they're holding a corner, and they just stand still and try to shoot him. Stand still and try to shoot him. Stand still and try to shoot him. And yeah, when your aim gets better, you'll do things that you see me advise against because I can get away with it because it's a feel thing. Maybe maybe I'll stand still. Maybe I'll see a guy right away and just duck spray because I could control it or something, right? But the first move is when someone's coming around the corner. So now let's talk about peeking. I'm peeking someone. I'm not going to stop. So if I see someone door here, I'm already preparing. If I see someone door, I'm staying close to this box because maybe I want to strafe off it and come here, come close and re-swing. If I'm in the open, my first move is a strafe shot wide again, right? Because why? I have depth to this doorway. I'm going away from the angle, right? I don't want to shoot and come back to the angle unless they're on that side and I want to kill them. So like if I shoot here and I want to kill them that way. If I shoot here, I want to go this way. Why? I keep my crosshair there. They have to peek into my crosshair, right? Shoot, strafe this way, peek into my crosshair, keep peeking, right? Yeah, it's kind of like this being accurate. Like, you got to be accurate. Like, I can't add movement to the mix if my aim isn't ready. Like, some people have that mindset. Well, why would I strafe more and move more if my aim isn't ready? Because you have to think the opposite. The worse your aim is, the more dialed your movement needs to be. And a lot of people just intuitively have it ass backwards because they think, why would I move more? I'm trying to be still and have control of my recoil, and Counter-Strike's a different game and recoil, and oh, it's difficult. You know, we're not playing Call of Duty or Apex. I gotta like control my recoil, so I better stand still to control the recoil. But the thing is the more you stand still, the faster you die to decent players, right? So like, let's watch. Let's try to aim right now with moving my crosshair. Let's lower my sensitivity to like 0.1, right? I can barely move, right? But see how like when you aim with someone, see like when I'm in a fight, like how much more like movement it can impact. It's so hard to turn. Maybe I need to go a little higher. But you see how like little, like I'm doing full swipes right here. But you see how the movement complements is a big part of the fight. I'm like, I can barely move right now, right? A good drill too, guys, for practicing just aim in deathmatch, if you ever want to really settle your mouse hand, is do this. So go up to like 0.75, that would be higher than mine, right? I'm not going to ever play with a sense like this. Way too fast, but then like make yourself play really movement heavy, right? So I'm looking around for an enemy, but when I see someone, I'm going to really be light on my mouse grip. I'm going to try to just stay very still, right? Maybe I'll do this for 5 minutes, 2 minutes even, just like, right? Try to be very stable and practice just feeling the difference in my wrist. My wrist has a completely different feel to how I play Counter-Strike right now. This is not how I play. I have none of this is involved. I don't have to be this quiet with my mouse hand, right? You just want to be very still when you're shooting at people. Practice tapping, go for heads, right? Look at this, how still I have to be when he peeks me. I got to be ready to move. See how I'm moving off the angle? See how when he's peeking into me, I'm naturally moving away from the angle? Now I'm going to go below my sensitivity again. So below 0.3. Now it's slower. Now I got to get my mouse hand in it more, right? Now I got to make sure my forearm is a little more activated. My forearm was very quiet just now, right? So right there, I see he ducked and he avoided my crosshair movement because I'm trying to be too stable. So obviously this isn't a good sensitivity for me. It's low. I'm doing multiple swipes here. Let me get my mouse cam on. You guys can see my senses right now, just a turn. So now this is low. You can see I'm kind of struggling to really like lead with my crosshair. I'm steady probably one side. If I see someone in this FOV, so the most control you have, right? I always talk about this. Your control is here. Watch my wrist. This is your inherent control. So this is your control with your sensitivity. Are you okay with that? That's fine, right? But how fast can you go while maintaining control in this movement? So for me, it's probably around 0.5, right? That's my sensitivity I've been playing on. So here, watch, when I want to snap to this guy, I feel confident going to his body, right? In this area with this level of speed. It's like I could slow down a little bit, but see, now I'm back to my sensitivity. It feels fast almost, right? So now what it does is, what I love about that training concept, 1600 DPI, not 400, guys. I used 400 DPI my whole career. I did testing about 1.5 to 2 years ago with NVIDIA Product Manager. We verified that with mice at 1000 hertz, 1600 DPI has like 2% less input lag than 400 DPI after testing it on various computers and with different weird input things that they have to test hardware. So I just switched. I said, screw it, I'll switch. So, but I urge you guys to all try this drill. Go high sense, then low sense, and then come back. And it makes you really feel the way your arm activates for the different sensitivities. I played on 400 DPI your whole life. It's been fine. There's no problem. I also do that. Say you're holding long A from CT and someone swings out. Do you strafe with them or tuck? Well, it depends if I think they have more teammates behind them, right? Like a guy right here, he's pre-aiming this, right? So a lot of times at this angle, I'll actually do this for the first shot, and then I'll go like this, right? If I have like an AK, if I have an M4, a lot of times I'm actually dancing, right? Because I don't want them to have a clean pre-aim on me. And then I'll commit. Like here to here, I'm comfortable with an A4 spraying if it's one guy. But if I think they took long control and I hear multiple flashes, most of the time I'm not even taking this fight. Or what I'm trying to do is, you know when they jump to pit, one guy will swing wide while one's on the wall and one's jumping pit? A lot of times I literally try to get that guy going wide. And so I think about it more as like an isolation. So there's two guys, one jumping to pit, I peek like that depth right there, but I don't peek the whole wall. It really just depends what, or if it's Nico, right? Do you think they have worse guns? Anytime people have worse guns, you know, you're always trying to take that off angle to get the first kill because you're just going to have an advantage, right? Yeah, like if I have an AK, Mitch, I'm much more like stoked to stand right here. Or if I know they don't have head armor, I'll use an M4 and stand and take this fight. But a lot of times I'm literally just waiting more because people, this is like a common mistake, like especially in like pugs people make, is someone will go to that angle by themselves. Watch high level players. Watch like pros. When you're taking along A, no one runs here to take this fight unless they have like an op or their boys are with them, right? But like no one's going here because this is just isolation nation, right? Because a lot of good players, what they'll do is, like I said, they'll listen, they'll watch like maybe the corner, they'll watch the corner, wait for flashes, maybe watch for him to jump pit, kind of do this. And then they'll wait, and they'll just do this. And they'll try to get a kill there. And then you get the kill there, 9 times out of 10, the other guy's scaling close wall. So it's just all about being aware of... I mean, if someone shoots you behind, you're almost dead. So my range of motion is this, my mouse pad. I could do 180 degrees. So everything to do with holding angles is 2 things. Your reaction time is the other part of being relaxed. The more game sense you have, the more relaxed you could be holding an angle, right? People who generally aren't aware of what's happening are the most stressed about where they could peek because you're like, oh shit, right? Like, that's why good players always complain about communication in your team. When you have bad comms, you're excuse my language, you're freaking worried about catwalk. Are they up cat? Are they here? Are they there? Are they there? And that's like what most people deal with at low ranks. So like I was saying, like you kill a guy wide, you know a guy's running up here. When you're trying to take that isolation, like you start to learn like when you take smart fights. And that's why if I'm playing a good player and I know they want to isolate me, but I'm feeling on fire, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my AK and I'm going to clear long and I know there's no one peeking here. And I know they don't have op money. I literally swing like this. AK headshot. I'm flying. Someone flash high right for me. I'm smoking. Smoke. Wait for the flash. B-hop. Make sure your smoke covers this side. Jump here. Top A. If the guy was fighting here, most likely he might have support top A or cat. If he has support top A, he'll probably have a nade coming somewhere. So if I see a flashback off that wall, what I might try to do is isolate a guy spawn really quick and take this fight because they're not going to fight me on cat because he's fighting from top A. If I don't see the flash here, I'm going to take the chance of crossing, but not far because if I go far, he can isolate me from this angle. I want to come up here so that by the time he does fight me from top A, my teammate's already near game helper, right? So every time you start to take these fights, your game sense dials you into a point where taking fights becomes much more, do I got boys on my back or do I not got boys? Do they got boys? And if they got boys, where can I take a 1v1 and where's my confidence lie? A lot of times when I do the thing and I play CS and I say the guy's going to peek me from here, the guy's going to peek me from here, and 3, 2, 1 here, is because Counter-Strike, as opposed to like a game like Valorant, is based off the human meta, right? And you have so many nades and you have so much things to do and you're trying to take a bomb site. And so a lot of times people are somewhat easy to read after a while of paying attention. If you're a really nice dude who's ready to support, that's great. And I think learning how to support is some problem other people don't have. But one of the things I had to learn, I didn't learn until honestly like right before I left Cloud9, is I didn't really understand what it was. And what it was is this. One of the strengths I had as a teammate was that I was a glue guy. If you notice, all of our Cloud9 teams, guys, before I left Cloud9, how many times did you guys feel like, I don't know, our roster just had much more heart to them than the teams after? Maybe you guys could disagree, what? But after I left, that was something I pride myself in. I'm gonna be a glue guy. If we lose, we're gonna learn about the loss together. We're not gonna point fingers and blame and be, you know, yeah, they hit the major, but dude, literally, I'm not even gonna call people out specifically, guys, but they won the major and they had people crying on their team about not getting the MVP after they won the major. I'm not gonna say who, but people were crying about not getting the MVP after they won the major. I heard inside Stoop stories and it just blew my mind. That was literally the problem we had when I quit. I was getting so sick of people with this mentality. They win the major and they're crying because they don't get MVP. It's like, dude. Now, I've made amends with these people and everyone. Like, listen, we've all had our flaws. I had my flaws. But one of the things I learned about, and Mitch, you just triggered this conversation, was one of the things I didn't do enough, and I did it towards actually the end of C9 a little bit. Dude, this match, for instance, right here, nothing Cloud, like, there's like a video, nothing carries Cloud9. Like, this match, watch my face most of this match. Like, watch when you see my face when I get kills. Tell me if you see any happy-go-lucky. Like, I start fragging hard. Like, you go watch this YouTube video, nothing carries Cloud9. Watch my face in this game. The whole time. I'm serious as a heart attack. This whole game. Watch my face though. Like, dude, our team was in shambles. Literally, first of all, we had all these problems. But like, what I realized at that time, we had a sports psychologist named David Dennis. This is what I was trying to get to. I could have like cut a lot of what I just said out. And this is my whole point. Is one of my flaws was like being too much for the support of everyone around me. You get walked on, right? And what I realized was like, I didn't mind that as long as I could have perspective of like not being walked on. I didn't think that was me, but I realized is that I had trouble getting like before the game, if I knew teammates were down or if Shroud just had 3 kills in the last match, I wasn't worrying about myself. I was saying, hey, Shroud, and I'd go fuck with him in the practice room and I'd say, Mike, let's see if you can get 4 kills this game or something, you know? And I would chirp him and I would just laugh because I'd let him know that you're still my boy, you're still my teammate. I don't care if you get 1 kill and let's go, right? But what happened is like I would put on my headset and I would be unfocused because I would be thinking about everyone around me. And my point is to you, Mitch, to bring this big pro level thing back in because I think it's profound for the rest of life, is I had to learn how to go into war mode with my headset on. So I had to create a trigger. That was my trigger. Sports psychologist that I came up with. When I put my headset on right before the match goes live, I'm switching from glue guy and happy-go-lucky Jordan to nothing. And I gotta be in a different mode because what I realized is, yeah, I could be happy-go-lucky and I could drop 40 kills one game, but the next game I might drop 12 kills and it might make me think too much and get out of my focus. Because I was thinking, well, I'm focusing on supporting or I'm doing this or I'm doing this. And I've kind of extrapolated this out to life a little bit. And what I realized was that I had to go into a different mode in which my mode had different things about it. What the mode was, I had different things that meant I was in the war mode, which meant focus, protocols. There's no love in war, competition, right? Like, I'm a man of faith, and when you think about like God and godliness, actual things like Counter-Strike and competition don't matter in like the sense of love, and you get really philosophic and you really can disconnect yourself from it. The competition actually doesn't matter. So core of me always was like, I'm very lighthearted in competition because I was like, this stuff doesn't really matter in the end. Like I'm doing a job, it's fun. But what I realized is that carried so much over that I would like let myself be vulnerable to that while I'm competing, but then I had to acknowledge, but I am competing. And the whole point of competition is that you might be playing against someone on the other team who's a piece of shit person, which I did many times. That's a whole nother conversation. These pros, best players in the world, whatever. And they might be a trash person, cheat on their wife kind of thing. That doesn't matter in Counter-Strike. What would happen was I realized I needed to go into a different zone to be someone from myself, from my default, to win in Counter-Strike. And what I realized is I was always very good at Counter-Strike, but I had a lot of inconsistent performances in my career, and I think it's because I was always just letting myself just be too flowy with my teammates. How's the vibe? How's the this? How's the that? And there's a lot of positives to that. There's a lot of positives. I learned a lot of positives from being that optimistic and that happy-go-lucky. But I realized what I did is I had to create a trigger to get into the zone for matches. That's what the point of this conversation and this rant was. I put on my headset. It was about competition. It didn't matter. My superstitions didn't matter. Did I wash my hands or warm up properly? It didn't matter anymore. Was I ready? Did I practice enough? It didn't matter anymore. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get in and I'm gonna dial. And yeah, there's a lot of personality struggle, and I always took that upon myself. You have players like Stewie who are great teammates but super passionate. Fraud, people get super angry, and I always try to balance everyone. And it wasn't until pretty much I was off that team that I finished that retrospective of just saying like, oh, like I was always putting all this stuff on me because I felt like very empathetic to all these feelings, and then I realized like, oh, like in competition, I need to dial back in, and that's like the Kobe mentality, and that's why I used to kind of like be disgusted by the Michael Jordan and Kobe mentality. They're like slapping their teammates and stuff, and now I'm probably never gonna do that. I understood more now that they were going into a place of competition or war with a mindset that was different than the rest of life.